everybody, and welcome to another episode of AndersMillknits. I'm your host, Emily. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as AndersMillknits. Yes, I have changed my name. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. And I am joined today by not one, but two amazing Stephanies. So we had to organize how we were going to be calling each other before we started, but I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves.
Thank you, guys. I'm the Stephanie this week. My name is Stephanie, and I can be found on Ravelry as Hotpinksocks and on Instagram as Hotpinksocksreviews. And here is...
Yes, and I am Steph of Adoreknits Steph on Instagram and KnittinSamurai on Ravelry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Typical me. And I have an Etsy shop.
There you go.
Yes.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to model for you.
Okay.
Oops, that's blowing out. There you go.
Yes.
What am I holding, Steph?
You are holding a project bag from my Etsy shop called Adoreknits, and it's a stitch marker, progress keeper, project bag shop.
I absolutely love this. It's literally my favorite bag, but at the same time, I have in it a project that's not my favorite project at the moment. So I've been avoiding it. I need to change that. But yes, yeah. It's so beautiful. And then Steph does these toggles. I can't get too close to the screen because I've got a new light and it keeps blowing things out. But she's got... Oh. Don't you do different toggles for each bag?
I do for different bags, and they can be used as progress keepers, right? You just take them off and put them where you need them to go. So that's one of them.
Cute.
I love them. I'm so grateful that you went the project bag route and not the yarn dyeing route.
Well, I had dyed yarn just for fun in my kitchen probably 10 years ago, and I still have all the acid dyes and stuff, but that is too labor intensive and too smelly. Like not me. So,
yep. But the thing is like,
where'd you go?
I don't know, but there's so many yarn dyers out there that I get completely lost with it and overwhelmed, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't feel, maybe there are, and maybe
there are a ton of bags.
Okay. Yeah. But I'm just not aware of it then.
Well, on the bags, I don't sew. I cut. That's like a very clear distinction. My mother does all the sewing. She's sewn since she sewed baby clothes for me. Like, that's her jam. She loves to sew. So it was kind of an outlet for her to come in and work in the shop a little bit with me and have fun together. So
yep.
That's how that came to be.
I can't remember. Are you now closer to them, or... Because I know you used to be pretty far away, right?
Well, no, we're pretty close. They're 3 miles down the road.
Dude. Perfect.
Yeah. That's close.
Yeah. The joke is when my second son was born, that was when they were like, okay, we can't stand it. We're moving. And they moved to the same town.
There we go. Okay, that's where I got confused. I must have missed that along the way. But that's one of the things that I love about you is you're just so open and welcoming into your life. Like, guys, before we actually started recording, I was actually telling Steph, Adoreknits Steph, that like it just feels so like I'm just talking to an old friend, because I've been watching Steph since her first podcast or YouTube channel of The Expectant Knitter. Okay. Yep. And then it morphed into KnittinSamurai and her guys. No.
KnittinSamurai +1 and her guys, and now it's Adoreknit.
Yeah.
Because change is good.
Exactly.
We all evolve.
Yep. Change is good. I might have to write that down. Did I bring in a pen? No, because I want that to be the name of the podcast. Change is good. Maybe. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I was telling her before we started recording that. It just feels so nice to have this knowledge. And it's not knowledge that, I don't know. It was freely given, freely shared knowledge over the years. And that's what I really, really like, you know? I feel very blessed to have been a stalker.
You're not a stalker, Emily.
I know, right?
I remember when you reached out to me while you were still in school and said, I think you were doing rehabilitation or you were doing some sort of project and said, hey, do you have any yarn that I could, that you want to donate? And I mean, forever in my head, you are that, you know, just giving social person. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that first time I ever asked anybody, that was the one. And you guys were so generous. My little tiny house that I was living in Portland was stacked to the rafters with boxes and boxes of donated yarn.
It was very cool.
Yeah. And I tell you, so what I was doing with that was I was creating a pilot program for the place that I was interning at that did art therapy with the focus on knitting, because I think it was that year, I can't remember her name, but a lady came out with a research paper around the mental health benefits of meditative knitting.
Mm-hmm.
And the data was astounding. And so I was like, I just gotta make this happen where I'm at. And so I got permission, but I didn't get a budget. And so everything had to be donated. And so I was very limited in what I could do, but I knew that I just knew that I couldn't buy like paints and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that if I reached out to my knitting community, I would get an influx of donations, and boy, was I right. It was awesome. It was amazing. And I might be asking for donations soon again, because our domestic violence shelter with my organization, we're going to start trying to do some like teaching people to knit via Zoom.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I still teach via Zoom. I still teach via Zoom to friends in Iowa where we used to live. So it's possible. Wow. It's definitely possible.
I might have to ask you to help me with that if you want to volunteer. I don't know. Because I'm terrible at teaching people to knit in person, let alone Zoom.
Do you have to have a special like over the top angle when you're teaching them?
Yep. Very Pink Knits. She's got those glasses that have the camera in them. So when she's looking down and showing us a technique, it's right there. I need to find one of those. But I would have no idea how to connect that to a Zoom call and stuff, but it would be cool. But anyway, okay, let's do a little bit of administrative stuff. Sorry. Okay, we got this is how it's going to go, guys. We're going to go off on tangent. So a little administrative things. So just so everybody, a reminder that we're continuing with the Plan Knit Cal, and that's going to go across your screen now for 2021. And it's in 4 sections. Each section is 3 months. I'm still debating, or we're still debating, what that 4th section is going to be. But this first section is organize your stash, and you create your own goal around what you want to do, how fast you want to go, all that kind of stuff. You don't even have to have it done in the 3-month time period that we've quote unquote allotted.
Right.
But I had a goal of having all my stash, which was super overwhelming, uploaded to Ravelry and ready for me to submit to our insurance company as far as it's a scary number. I'm telling you, it's a scary number of how much I bought. How much money is in my stash.
I don't even want to know.
I know, right? When I exported it to Excel, my jaw dropped. I was like, seriously? And then I promptly went and I had to order some more yarn. We'll get into that later. But it was for a good cause. But anyway, my goal was to have it done by the end of January. and I completed that goal. And Stephanie and I were going to record a video about what that whole process was, but then I got a migraine. So instead, I just went and downloaded all of my things that I uploaded to Instagram stories and put that all together. Boy, howdy, was that a nightmare to do.
And if you guys are still further interested, just let us know in the comments below. We're more than happy to additionally do another video in regards to how do we put our stash on Ravelry? What is for us, what's the best way to do it? Is it using the phone, computer, you know, all those different things and storage ideas. So if that's something of interest, definitely just put it in the comments below and we'll be happy to put something together like that.
Yeah.
And I will say,
go ahead, Steph.
After having my stash in Ravelry for 10 years or something, it is so useful to just, even when it gets a little away from me, that, you know, like I have a bag right now that I need to take pictures of and get in, but it's just a small thing to do. Like you did the big part and got everything in, and now it's like clean slate. So
exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. And when the 2 new skeins come in, it'll be a cinch to upload instead of the I'm going to say thousands of yarns that I'm sure it was that many that I uploaded.
Yeah.
But also I do want to put in a plug. I know. I do want to put in a plug that we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about this idea of organizing our craft life with Boston Jen of, oh my gosh, I forgot her podcast.
Downseller Studio.
So is she next? I can't remember.
She'll be with us shortly.
Yeah. And then, so we're going to do that as well. So there's another prompt. If you guys have specific questions for Boston Jen, as people generally do, because she's so well known and just so knowledgeable about so many things, go ahead and comment below and I'll make sure to write it down for next time.
Or we can also do a little bit of a Q&A with her as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Soon, one of these days, I want to get a whole bunch of us on and just do a live stream.
That would be fun. Just call it Knit Night.
Yeah, exactly. And then I want to put in a plug because we're doing a campaign on here to get to 1,000 subscribers. And in order to do that, I'm putting up a lot of giveaways. Yeah. From my own personal stash, because like Stephanie was saying how generous it was, and I was like, well, I kind of have over 40 quantities of sweater quantities, and so it's not really a hardship to give one up.
It's still very generous for someone to win a sweater's quantity of yarn.
Yes. So all the details about the giveaways is going to be down below, and then I'm going to also go out and see if anybody wants to donate, although I feel really awkward asking. That's why for now, pretty much everything, well, actually everything is coming from my own stash. But so the first prize is a sweater's quantity and a sweater pattern of your choice to go with it of up to a US value of $10. And so that could be from Lovecraft, from Ravelry. There's a couple other new places that we could do, but your platform of choice up to $10 value. And then I got the seasonal slow knitting book, which is very meditative and contemplative. And I read through this and I loved it, but I'm also done with it because I've read it. So I want to pass it on to you guys. So I'm going to do that with a skein of yarn from my stash, which I haven't picked out yet. It'll probably be something like rustic and natural because that's the theme of this book.
It's a great book.
Yes, it is. And then also I did another skein of yarn and a pattern of your choice of, again, up to a US value of $10 on your platform of choice. So those are the 3 prizes for now. So subscribe, invite your friends, get the word out. I might even do a giveaway just randomly with, if you tag AndersMillknits in your social media I think I'll do a giveaway from that platform too. And I don't know what that would be. You guys have a suggestion? I mean,
I'm sure we could find something.
Yeah. It'll be good.
So more info to come.
Yep. So I'm pretty excited about it. And the reason is that I feel like this is a format worth sharing. You know, the getting together with friends, the loose interviewing.
Are you gonna call me a loose knitter?
Tighten it up, girl.
Right. It is. It's community. It's the way we are doing knitting community right now under the circumstances with what everyone has for restrictions or what have you. We're adapting our knitting community, and this is how we're able to do it. And I'm super thankful for that opportunity as well.
Yes, exactly. And so that's why I want to just kind of put it out there. Now, there are other people who do interviews, like the Fruity Knitting Podcast. Nobody can top them. Nobody.
No.
And then Christy Glass, she's like the superstar of the knitting community now. But I think what we're offering is something unique and different. Well, yeah, that's what unique means.
I feel like this is get to know your knitting neighbor.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be someone who is well known in the knitting community. It could just be another knitter who's either a friend or someone you know on social media or someone who was your swap partner at one point. And again, it's not about a big platform. This is about real knitters who just want to get together.
Yep. And I mean, like Stephanie is pretty well, Steph, there we go, from Adoreknits, is pretty well known because she's been around and she's, in my opinion, you're pretty much a superstar. But I approached her because she's a friend, not because, you know, and that's the way it was with Jamie. And I got, and there's so many of my friends. We've got quite a few people. One friend from South Africa who's going to be on later this year. Another friend that's living in Germany, you know, and so we really want to just be very inclusive. Yeah. And just grow the community. So, yeah. All right. Enough of that jammering. So let's get on to the good stuff. First off, why don't we all talk about what's on our needles at this very moment? Who wants to go first?
Let our guest go first.
Okay. This is emergency sock knitting is kind of what I'm calling it. I want to say I cast these on like 3 years ago. They're my movie theater knitting. So when I don't have a project that's straight stockinette or simple, grab this vanilla sock, 2x2 rib. You know, it's DVD, Desert Vista Dye Works yarn, Sanctuary colorway, I think. I don't know what that's in reference to because when I hear Sanctuary, I think of Firefly. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you think of that from the movie. And these colors don't match up with that to me. So I don't know.
They're very cute though. I do like that color.
Yeah. And I bought this way before because I participate in the monthly knit along with her. And I probably bought these like 5 years ago. So I don't know. I didn't know what the big deal was then, but now I do. Yeah. So now I
Are you still doing that this year? The monthly?
I think so. I mean, you can't beat that discount.
I know.
And if I'm going to be knitting socks anyway, you know, because that's right now during everything that's going on, it's like my comfort knitting, you know, maybe I'll do a little bit of patterning, but just autopilot, easy.
Yeah. Low key.
That's something for you to think of, Stephanie, because I mean, you guys are going to see she's got another pair of socks done. But I mean,
don't rat me out.
I know. But I mean, you knit them so quickly. I mean, and then, so Steph, what is the discount? What is the program with Desert Vista Dye Works?
I don't want to misspeak. I think it's 30% at 3 months, and then you get a free skein at 6. Do you know, Stephanie? You're shaking your head.
It's something like that. She's set it up really nicely. I know all the information is obviously on her website or Ravelry in her group, but
and the first year I did it, I started in April. So you could start any time in the year. You don't have to be like, oh, I missed the deadline for January. So
that's cool.
It is good to know.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's say we did start let's say we started in October. When the year ends, does that mean we have to start over, or could we still hit a 6 month?
I think it starts over. I think it's the calendar year.
Okay, that's good to know.
Because the first year I got the free skein of my choosing, and then this year I got a free skein and the exclusive colorway.
Yeah. Ooh,
haven't gotten it yet. I'd show it if I had it.
Yeah. Well, I've got 2 skeins of Desert Vista Dye Works that I've never knit up, and so I've never knit her yarn, but
it's awesome.
Obviously, I've got to get on the bandwagon here.
Yeah.
So,
now that you know what's in your stash,
right? And they are gorgeous skeins. If I find them to put up here, I'll put them up on the screen here for everybody to see. But yes, I need to do that.
I love those socks. I just started a shawl.
Just started. Look at all you have done.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I am always saying.
It's a garter stock. It's just garter, not much to it. This is and this is in black and white, so forgive me. Joji Locatelli, Girl from the Grocery Store. Right there.
Was that the one they did for Tracy, or was that the one for Jody?
This is one of the older. I think this was one of the first ones they came out. And I think it was just for both of them.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, Joji Locatelli wrote the pattern. Super potato chippy knitting, and so I am doing that, and I'm just using some stash yarn. I think. Let's see. This is the Black Trillium. Whoa. Yep.
Oh, I love her yarns.
Black Trillium yarn in a natural that's undyed.
And she's out of Salem, Oregon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a Lorna's Laces sock in just the aqua color.
Who bought Lorna's Laces?
Somebody say, do they still dye?
I think another company bought them, but I think they're still producing.
Yeah.
Under that.
I know a lot of the lines, or a lot of the specific yarns have gone discontinued, or you can find them on Stash and Ravelry and things like that. I don't know. I know they've reformulated, so it looks different than it used to as well.
Yeah. But I'm pretty darn sure. I even want to say it was Sweet Georgia Yarns, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong.
Could be Simply Sock Yarn Company. I don't know.
Could be.
Oh, could be.
But that's all I have on the needles because I finished some stuff. So
yes, you did.
To you, Emily.
Okay. Well, I am knitting on my Knit Picks Hawthorne in the Citron colorway socks. So I had the first one done the last time we podcasted. And actually, I think right before we last podcasted, I had cast on. And so I think I was probably like 5 or 6 rows in when we started. So I've turned the heel. Again, it's a Fish Lips Kiss heel. And I did 3x2 rib on the cuff. And I feel like I was channeling Steph when I did that. Because I don't know, are you still doing that on all your socks? But you were doing some. Yeah.
One by one. No, I don't do that.
You do one by one. Okay. Well, there you go. Maybe I was just channeling myself. But I just wanted to do a different kind of rib because I usually do one by one. And I usually just do a short cuff.
Me too.
And I just wanted it to go all the way down. And so then Fish Lips Kiss heel. And I didn't try at all to match up the stripes. It wasn't going to be worth it to me. I was going to waste a lot of yarn. Yeah. And I'm just like, I like it. Yeah. I'm not so sure I like the black on the heel, but yeah, it's okay.
And are these socks for you?
Either for me or for my sister. Well, I don't think my sister Kelsey would like these because they're too unmatchy. Oh. So probably for me. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Are
my
you
sister
liking
Kelsey's
the crinkle?
Huh?
Have you adjusted to the crinkleness of the yarn?
Now I have. That first sock drove me insane.
I'll bet.
But now I have another skein of the hot. So what Steph's talking about is this is how it comes. And the tube is that small. And so it uncrinkles like a sock blank as you're knitting it. And anyway, so what was I going to say? Yeah, oh yeah. So I found I have another sock reel. That's what they call it, Hawthorne sock reel. And I don't know if they're still producing sock reels or not, but it's ridiculously easy to take this around with you without a project bag.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I absolutely love this. It just takes a while to get used to that crinkliness. Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's what's on my needles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to say something. So, Steph, this morning I had this genius idea and I texted it to Stephanie and we ran with it. The jar of getting to know you.
Oh boy.
So random questions all about knitting. I was tempted to put in some personal stuff, but I was like, I know Steph of Adoreknits would be okay with that, but I'm not sure if other people would be. So, and Boston Jen, she'd be okay with it, but still, I want to be okay with that. So anyway, randomly, we're going to pick something. So I'm going to, oh crap, I have fat hands. Ooh, I picked the longest question too. What is one thing you want others to know about you that they might not already know? That was the question Stephanie came up with. I thought that was genius.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? Steph?
Oh, good. She can go.
One thing I want people to know about me. Gosh, put me on the spot. One thing I want people to know.
You came up with the question.
Well, I know. Well, I have worn many hats in my life. Let's say that. I am a licensed paramedical esthetician, so I have a medical license in skincare. I have run a few non-surgical laser clinics for a couple physicians in my lifetime. I have a master injection license, so I can inject Botox and filler and all those fun things. After about 12 or 13 years of that, married my husband and went into a new field. And I have worked in the collegiate realm for probably last 6 or 8 years at least. I've been everything from an a director of student life. I've been the dean of students. I've run multiple dorms, programs for college students, all that kind of fun stuff on the housing side and student life. I've been in the athletics side. My husband is a collegiate baseball coach, and so we've traveled to multiple colleges, and I've had the experience of helping athletes and students along the way, and it's something I enjoy. I enjoy it because it's the opportunity to mold young minds at a very opportunistic time when they themselves are trying to find out who they are, and they don't need mom and they don't need dad anymore, but they do need a little bit of guidance. And it's nice to be able to offer suggestion or offer help in times of need. But it's a really neat age group. And so my husband and I have been in the college world on the job side for a long time. So
that's amazing.
I don't know about that, but I'll take it.
But you failed to mention something.
Oh, did I?
You failed to mention your singing career.
Yeah, I am. From the time I was about 6, my grandfather, who was he was the leader of the military band in whatever, I want to say the Coast Guard. He also sung, worship director at church, and I grew up singing in church and was concertly trained from the time of age 8 on, and have sung semi-professionally since then. So
That's amazing. See, I learned that. I remember how many podcasts ago, but I'd never known that about you.
Yeah.
And that's something we have completely in common. So
yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Enough of me. Someone else.
All right. You ready, Steph?
Sure. So for me, I guess the thing that I would throw out there that I would like people to know is that I knit when I was younger, right? It's knitting related. But when I graduated college and started my very first job, it was in apparel production. And so I worked in a large, I don't know, wasn't manufacturing setting, but we'd send the instructions of what to make, and then we'd get the garments back and we'd fit them on the model. And I learned so much from the people around me of, you know, you want the design to look like this, you tweak that. And I worked on everything that you wear for clothing, you know, and in doing that, I fell in love with sweaters and just the concept of, okay, this is a machine knit item and it's not fitting well enough at this point. So what do we tweak to get it to do that? And it inspired me to want to knit myself a sweater. And so that's how I started knitting, was based on bulk manufacturing and garment fitting on Rob the mannequin.
Yep. I remember when you worked in that, and like it was always just so fascinating to me when you would share these industry tidbits, because I had no idea. And
as I went through it, you know, I went from the production part of clothing manufacturing over to the retail stores and putting together the line that would be sold in the store. And so it was always fun to me to know the background of, okay, this cuff costs that much to add it to a garment. And then, okay, well, does the customer think that's worth it? You know, and I don't know, just little pieces like that are constantly running in my mind. And knowing that like navy, black, and gray are the most popular colors.
I bet.
And so just things like that. And the seasonal palette and an awareness of the color changes and flows. So you will never catch my husband wearing stonewashed jeans in the winter.
So do you feel like that experience and that gained knowledge helps you in your knitting now when you're thinking about sweaters and design?
Yes, but I wish I did more design. That's definitely something I want to do with my life, you know, but I need an extra small friend to knit for, because knitting sweaters in my size, it's just a lot.
I'm with you.
So, and especially when, you know, you go into Kohl's or Target or whatever, and the latest style's $20, you know, and I'm gonna, I know we're knitters. We enjoy the enjoyment of the craft, but
but it is difficult because but there's that movement that's been going on for a couple years of like the capsule wardrobe and I got that slow knitting in my head because of the book, but I can't remember what they call it. But where you're just very intentional about your wardrobe, and I wish I had that mentality.
Yes. Yeah. One of my friends did 37 pieces. She was only allowed to have a ward that included everything. And so when it made her really pare down and really accessorize.
Yes.
You know? But she was so happy with doing that for at least a year. You know, didn't buy anything.
Why not?
Are you guys aware of the audio podcast? Is it Knitting at Yinhu? Is it Yarns at Yinhu? I absolutely love it. I'm not really sure if she is a school counselor or if she's a school teacher for a high school up in I forget, but the New England area, around where you're all at, Steph. And I just and she, ever since she started her audio podcast about 5 years ago now, about the same time I started mine, which, by the way, the Grocery Girls and I started our podcast at the same time. Actually, I started mine 4 months before them, or 4 or 5 months.
Wow.
I was like, and so when they celebrated their 5-year anniversary, this last time, I was just like, I've been podcasting for 5 years. So, you know.
Tell me about it. Every time my son has a birthday, he's going on 10. It's like,
oh my God.
Yeah. You've been double. And then there's the knit girls who've been around for probably that long.
Oh, easily.
And then the fat squirrel, who I think has been around for probably 8.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, so this lady, she's been doing that capsule type wardrobe, all handmade. And as she makes a handmade garment, she then replaces the store-bought garment that's in her wardrobe with that. So she's not saying, I'm just going to throw out everything that's store-bought. I'm going to be very intentional, especially because I want to have clothing. She wants to have clothing that fit her well and can meet all kinds of purposes. Like, for instance, this sweater I'm wearing right now, I'm sorry, but this only meets 1 or 2 criteria. I'm wearing it today because I'm podcasting, and then I would wear it if I was presenting for work. Otherwise, I never touch it, you know? But I want to have wardrobes that I can do all those things in. Yeah. So very good.
Okay, so you need to answer the question we had to answer.
Oh, crap. Honestly, I mean, is there really anything people don't know about me? I mean, I'm like Steph. I'm an open book. Well, okay, how about this? I'm not sure that I've ever shared this. So you guys have been seeing my progress on getting back on the bike. And so I shared earlier this week when it was Cancer Awareness Day about my cancer story. So, okay. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm going to try and stand up so you can see. Can you? So this is my bad leg. And okay, if I wasn't wearing black, maybe you could. But this leg is a good third smaller than this leg because this goes straight to bone. And then I've got, they removed my kneecap and took out cartilage and stuff there and at my hip. So now I've got arthritis. But I never thought that I could ride a bike because I literally couldn't ride a bike forever. I mean, I had to learn to freaking walk again. And it was when I was going through my divorce that I was just like, you know what? If I can do this, if I can get away from my abuser, I can do anything. And so I went to a local gym to meet because I was in Portland at that time. And that first day I got on one of those, is it recumbent?
Recumbent bikes.
Yeah. And that day I think I did like 3 minutes and my leg was just burning. And so now, but okay, so then I said, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I need to make a goal. So my goal was that I would ride a bike from Anchorage to Seward, which is about 141 miles.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I started training for it. And then a friend of the family who actually has done all kinds, all around the world, these incredible bike races, like very long distance. Like I think one of them was 1,000 miles across China and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure 1,000 miles is correct. So I just know it was across China. But he heard about it. And so he lives in China. And so he contacted me and he started training me. And when I was doing that, I got to the point where I was bicycling for 3 hours nonstop at the gym, doing about 40 miles in one go. And then I moved to Kenai and I didn't have a gym anymore. So I lost it. And I was just this whole process of doing this, like something that I never thought I could ever do. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm getting back on it. And so I just get so excited. Like yesterday when I did 65 minutes and 17.94 miles, I almost cried, but it
must be coming back faster this time than the initial. Yeah.
Yes, but at the same time, my body hurts so bad today.
Do some yoga.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. So I'm doing physical therapy because of the damage that the cancer has done. Even though I learned to walk again correctly over the years, my body adapted oddly. And so it started learning bad habits. And so now I've got like a pinched nerve, I've got arthritis and all this kind of stuff. So I do physical therapy, medical massages, and then a lot of stretching and stuff. But it still hurts. So
I think that's a great accomplishment.
Yep. But I have a new goal because here's the thing. When I was training to ride from Anchorage to Seward, I didn't take in one very important fact. The majority of that ride is along the coast of Alaska, and the winds there get up to or over 120 miles an hour.
Right.
So when I would try and
ride into that.
Exactly.
No.
The last time I tried doing it, I literally, even if I was pedaling, I was still being pushed backwards.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that time I was actually crying because I was walking my bike on the highway in this horrible wind and nobody stopped to help me. And I had to walk 10 miles back to my car.
That's not good.
Yeah. And there's no cell service either. So I couldn't call for help. So now the new goal is to ride my bike across the old Denali Highway. And if I can find a picture, I'll insert that up here. But I do believe that's still about the same amount of mileage, but it's a safer route.
Smart.
So I've changed things around. And I don't know when that's going to happen. I kind of doubt it's going to happen this year, but I'd like it to happen before I'm like 42 or something. So a 2-year window there. Yeah.
There you go.
So there you go. That's
awesome.
enough about me. Yeah. Okay. So who wants to talk about FOs? I know somebody's got some.
I have two this week. I finished a pair of socks, which Emily alluded to already. These were super fun, just vanilla, nothing special. It's kind of I would say like an undyed with a purple speckle. And then I used just some scrap variegated that I had and put in some heels and toes.
They're so beautiful. So calming too.
Yeah, they're fun. My husband
even
for commented. You? He said, "Oh, those are really pretty."
Yeah, who are they for?
I'm still knitting for my friend who has sent me the yarn to knit socks. So I have one more pair to knit for her, aside from this one. And I think I will have knit everything that she has sent me. So
I apologize. Why did she send you all this yarn?
She had asked, she's legally going blind, and so she doesn't have the ability anymore to knit, and she's never knit herself any socks, and she has always wanted a collection of hand knit socks. And so we had just gotten to talking, and I said, well, I knit socks all the time. If you want to just send me what you have, I'll be more than happy to do it. So she did, and it was fun. So
I love that.
And then I finished my Knit Love wool sweater. Is it Goldwing?
Yep,
the Goldwing. Emily can insert the picture here. I actually sent it to a friend of mine who is oh so deserving. She doesn't know it's coming. So it'll be a fun surprise for Valentine's Day. And that was just knit out of stash yarn. I think it was Cascade 220 or something really woolly like that. In the red and the charcoal gray.
Okay, I was gonna say, is it that sweater? Good.
Yes, it's that sweater. And I only made it to like elbow length, right above the elbow, because I was knitting out of stash, and so I just didn't quite have enough for full sleeves, but it actually looked okay. So
yeah. So that took you 2 weeks? Is that correct? I'm gonna call her out on this.
I think so.
That's just astounding. And here I've got sweaters that have been on the needles for years.
You're so funny. My mom, who is a knitter, she tells me that all the time. Gosh, you just knit so fast. And in my mind, I don't really think that way. I just knit, And I don't know, maybe I do knit fast. I don't know. I just knit because I enjoy knitting.
Do you track the yardage on Ravelry?
For some projects I do. I haven't really thought about it, but
I love that feature on Ravelry.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good because then at the end of the year, I'll look at it and go, oh, this year was a good year. This year was a not so great year. And
I did it 1 year and then fell off the wagon, and I don't know. But
I think that would be super fascinating because Steph from Adorknit, whenever you've done that in the past with your year in review thing, I've always been like, what the frick-a-frack? How the heck did she do that? Right. And it's the same with Boston Jen. And, there's so many who do that I'm just like, yeah.
And for me, I don't get large quantities of time to knit, but when I do get to knit, I sit down and I knit. So maybe I am a fast knitter. I don't know.
Well,
sounds like you don't get distracted.
Yeah.
Well, that I'm not so sure about.
Well, so that was one of the questions that I put in the jar. What do you guys usually do when you're sitting down knitting? Are you multitasking or are you just knitting?
It depends. I have a 5 and a 7-year-old, and so they're often helping me do things. I honestly, the thing that really distracts me the most is my phone. And if I can put my phone down, I can successfully knit. And I think that's true for any knitter. How many times are we getting a ping from, so-and-so on Instagram, or, so-and-so loaded a podcast, or, it's easy to multitask, but often we get so much more done when we just focus on that knitting.
Yep. I completely agree. What about you, Steph?
I've always got a book or a podcast or a movie, something going on. And I would say Emily, you probably, I don't know. I'm most successful knitting when it's an action movie and my brain my hands go, and I am so drawn to the movie that I go super fast with my knitting.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because I'm the same way. I prefer to put on knitting podcasts or YouTube stuff. Like there's a series that I'm watching on YouTube right now about the Appalachian people culture, and
like the Appalachian Valley.
Yeah, but it's taking in all the places, all the different all along the Appalachian Trail.
I live in that area.
Yeah. And so, and I've always wanted to hike the Appalachian Trail, oh my gosh, the guy who wrote the memoir of him, that's super funny. I've forgotten what it's called all of a sudden, but anyway, he never completed the actual hiking of the trail, but it's one of my favorite books, and I can't remember what it's called all of a sudden. Anyway, so he also wrote books like about like the history of each room in a house. Like, why is it called a living room? And what did that look like over the centuries? Right? And the kitchen. And it's just, he does so many cool things. His book should just be right here. But if I find it, I'll post it again. But anyway, so I've been watching that a lot this week. But otherwise, I usually am knitting if I am in some kind of training or Zoom conference call that doesn't require my full attention. Like if I'm not hosting it, then I'm knitting during it. So those are my
like time. During this time, like people that work outside the home are picking up, not traveling, but have regular jobs but are on computers, have picked up all this knitting time. And then people like me that, carpool at the soccer fields, whatever, I've lost a ton of sock time.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
So,
yeah. Your boys are very, very active, and you're very active in their lives. But same with Steph too.
Yeah. And I've been homeschooling our girls for however long it's been, and I'm super thankful, knock on wood. Next week we're going to do hybrid, so I will have 2 days a week where my girls are going back to school.
You're going to be super lonely.
And I told her, I think I know what you're going to do during that time. Knit.
Yeah. First, she's going to sit in the silence and go, oh, this is wonderful.
It's been an interesting year. It's been an interesting year.
Yeah. Do you have any FOs?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I have a half. I have a mitt.
You have a hoe? Oh, a mow.
Yeah.
You got a mow.
So I have a friend that asked me to knit her a pair of fingerless mitts because she's really cold typing at home, not at the office. And at first I was like, come on, give me some guidance here. And basically all she said was gray and warm. So I ended up knitting 2 different mitts and sending her a picture and saying, okay, which one do you like? Which one's for you?
Good
so
idea.
This is the one that she picked, and it's from Botanical Knits.
Yes. Oh, I love that book.
Yep.
Twigs and Willows. So
very cute.
Yeah, I adapted the pattern. It's a fingering weight, I think, pattern, and I used DK because I wanted it to be a bit warmer for her. So there should be 4 flowers. I can't do this backwards. And instead there's only 3. But
super cute.
Yeah.
Ridiculously cute. Love it.
I'll get those off to her just in time for it to not be so cold in Boston.
Yep, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Well, I have a completed object as well, and I still have the little toggles in because I wanted you guys to know. So this is the Aurora headband. And
is this the same yarn that you were using last time?
No. So
okay.
I made a mistake there. I paired sport weight with fingering weight. And so this mosaic knitting pattern was looking really weird. I was getting really frustrated with it. And I knew it was my fault, not Alexandra's fault, the designer. And so I went back to the beginning and I picked out, and plus the yarns I chose for my friend, they weren't her. These are her. So this gray is a plucky knitter from back years ago, like 5 years ago when I did their club. And now I don't really like plucky knitter, so I'm not going to plug for you to go buy their stuff. But
but you got the yarn and you're going to use it up.
Right. Yep, exactly. And I've got a lot of it too. So, well, not as much as I used to, but still. I'm really grateful that I have found other clubs to be a part of because at the time, this was the only one that I knew of, and I really wanted that in my life. And plus, they kind of bill themselves as this kind of chic company, and I have always wanted to be a chic girl, but I'm never going to get there, you know? And so I was like, ooh, if I buy the yarn from this chic company, I'll be a chic knitter. No. Plus, I don't like their yarn, so there you go. But it's called the Snap Out of It colorway. Oh, nope, that's not going to work at all. There you go.
There we go.
And so that's the gray. Now, the mushroom color, I still don't know the colorway. I know I did it in my fade shawl from Andrea Mowry.
Yeah.
But I didn't label the colors on my fade shawl correctly. So I don't know which one it is. And I don't know where the tag is. So, but this is the ball that just keeps on giving. I mean, my gosh, this thing just never ends. And I love it. I think I'm going to knit a pair of socks out of these because it's so pretty. Can you guys see the flecks of blue in there and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did mess up because so you Kitchener it together, and I couldn't figure out the first side of Kitchenering it together because this is double-sided, right? So it's in the round. And so now I've got to Kitchener something together, 2 sides together in the round.
A circle.
Yeah, and I couldn't, last night my brain couldn't wrap around it. So the first side I just did a 3-needle bind off. Sure. But then the second side I figured it out, and so that one's Kitchenered. But there you go. But it looks
be in the back anyway.
Yeah.
Aww.
Looks so cute.
There you go.
It does.
And it suits my coloring. I'm
Yeah,
like, do I really want to give it away?
Make another one.
Yeah. But this took 8 repeats of her mosaic chart. That's why I still have the toggles in, because I wanted to show that. So 8 repeats. And I would say I probably could have gotten away with 7, because this is a little bit loose on my head, and I've got a big head. I'm like you, Steph. I got a big head. And I know my friend has a smaller head. So
I think you should keep that. That was your test knit.
No way! I am not doing this again. I need to get this in the mail. Okay, and then I have a faux kind of a thing, but I gotta be quiet. So it's.
Oh yeah.
Are you coming out of the bedroom? Yeah. Well, hurry up, because I'm gonna show something you can't see.
Secret knitting.
Yep. Okay, maybe we'll talk about this in a little bit. We'll talk about on the needles now.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Who wants to go first?
Okay. Like I said, I just have my one shawl. That's all I have. I finished everything else. So I am hoping, and I know Emily has alluded to this, we are interested in doing the Knit Love Wool sweater knit along. She just started it. And I believe you can knit any of her sweaters. I want to say it's like a couple months worth on a timeline. So enough for, faster knitters to knit maybe 1 or 2 sweaters, or someone who just wants to knit a sweater. But Knit Love Wool is hosting a sweater cowl. And I
think that a designer?
Yes. Jennifer Steingass.
Okay. I knew you were into her.
Yes. So Dark Water is the pattern both Emily and I are going to do.
Nice.
And I am going to do this.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful.
It's so freaking beautiful.
So it's the same yarn that I just used to knit that sock for the body. And then the color work will be in the, well, let me just tell you. In the dark plum.
I was even going to say plum.
Yeah, and this one is called Plum Beads. So it's got that color that just kind of speckles throughout. So.
And who's the dyer of that one?
This is, I want to say it's Tammy Colors. I'm not sure. I'll send you the link, and we can link it below in the description for that.
Yeah,
but this is a 100% superwash merino. Super, super squishy. So I'm excited for this. But and we were talking, I don't know if it was last podcast or the podcast before, about intentionally knitting for your wardrobe. And I just felt like this was such a neutral color, which would really go with a lot of things, unlike what I've got on today.
Yeah, which is gorgeous.
Again, I have no problem wearing color. I think as a knitter, we love that. Not everybody else loves that. But working towards something that is a little more subdued.
Yep. And I do want to put in a plug around that for Kay Hopkins, or Knit for the Soul, because I feel like her patterns are sophisticated and yet can transition so easily between, I mean, let's say that we're back in the regular world and we're going to like, I don't know, some kind of event, gathering.
A fiber event or a knit night or a weekend or something. Yeah.
Yep. But then it can also transition well into just loungewear. I just really like that.
The other thing I appreciate about Kay's designs is it's not one of those, oh, I'll buy it and knit it once.
Yeah.
You can change, simple change of color in her designs specifically look totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different. And not every designer can you get away with doing that. I mean, a lot of times I'll buy one and I'll say, oh, that was a fun knit. And then that's it. But hers really lend to multiple uses of the pattern. And I really appreciate that.
She reminds me of Tin Can Knits. I was oogling because I didn't realize they came out with so many patterns in the last year. I haven't been paying attention.
And the sizes, the range in sizes, where it can go from kids all the way up to adult male. It makes it worth it, you know?
Yep. Well, so speaking of that sweater, there it is. So I have actually cast on mine, and I have my sweater for dark water is going to be in the purple from Cascade Sock Heritage Sock. And I think it's just 5051 is the colorway. And then Long Dog Yarns in the New Growth is going to be my contrast. Yes. Nice. So I cast on last night, and it was just so much fun that I'm at the point now. I've done the shaping for the back. Oh my gosh, this is not working well. And I'm ready to do the, oh wait, that's inside out. No, it's not. No, that's right side out. I'm ready to do the color work now. So I'm super excited. So I stopped. I was like, nope, we're not even going to start the color work. But the one thing I did want to talk about this pattern was, and this is just generally what I find for all sweater patterns. And I was always struggling to put my finger on it until recently when I've really, like, I ripped back my Once in Floral sweater and stuff, and I recalculated things. The thing is that my bust is 6 inches bigger than underneath it. And so if I knit the entire sweater for my bust size, that's where I've been going wrong. Because, yep, the bust size will then say that my arm sleeves are going to be huge, my body is going to be huge, and it just, like, talk about boxy disgustingness on me. That's been my problem. So with this sweater, I'm determined that that's not going to happen. So I'm knitting a combination of 2 or maybe even 3 sizes. So my bust is 45.5 inches at its widest point. So I'm knitting the size E so that I can have, I think that gives me 4 inches of ease. And she recommends 3 to 6. And then in my body area, I'm going down to size, is it D or C? I think it's like a medium.
Okay.
And then my arms, I have to go down to a C, which is, again, a medium. So I'm not sure which on my body that I'm going to do, like either the medium or the large. But I had to calculate out, like, okay, what's that going to look like? How much do I need to decrease? And where am I going to put those decreases? And how often? Because I have to decrease quite a lot when I go from my bust down, but I don't want it to be like, oh my gosh, what did she do there?
Right. You do want it to be seamless.
Right. Yeah. And you want it in the arms, not like princess seams.
Exactly.
A pucker in the front.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I had done a craftsy class with Amy Herzog, and she did this whole thing about the underbust and the shoulders. And after I learned what she taught, it completely changed my sweater knitting. And so I end up with sweaters that fit me instead of like the big boxy tents. And it's like, yeah. So I highly recommend.
You know, and I think the sad part about that is not that designers intentionally, you know, aren't thinking that way, but as women, speaking from women perspective, we all have different shapes. Not many of us are a box shape, you know, and for someone who has put in the time, the money, and the effort in this beautiful, wonderful yarn, and the idea that we've created in our mind, for it to not match up at the end is pretty heartbreaking.
It really is. And that's why the Once in Floral sweater sat in a bag for a year before I could finally get back to it. Yeah. And so I'm determined that kind of knitting is no more. So I'm going to look up stuff that, because I still have a subscription to Craftsy, so I can totally watch that.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. 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 She has worksheets and you write down your numbers, and it's super easy to adjust any pattern after that. So you guys are talking about Jennifer Steinglass patterns, and just so happens I have one. It's like I almost knew someone in this podcast loved her patterns.
Really?
Who could that be? Who?
We're not sponsored by her, but we would definitely sponsor her. Come on.
Yeah. So the dark water is awesome, and I think it's in my queue. I might even own it. But I had started a garden gate last year at this time, and it's gotten that far, and then I put it away.
Well, lucky for you, her KAL involves whips. So
awesome. So that's what I was
lady.
thinking. Yeah. So that's a good reason to take this back out and finish it. So
and what is that
color is so romantic on you. What is that?
It is baby merino 100% superwash wool hobby. I don't know. It was some, you know how Instagram suggests things.
Yeah,
it suggested this to me, and I ended up clicking, and I have no idea what it is, but I got a sweater's quantity for not a lot of money.
Nice.
Yep. That's where I got a lot of mine.
Yep. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So
well done. So what do you know what size you're knitting and all that, or
on this?
Yeah,
I have no idea. It's been so long. I'd have to reread my project page. Yeah, I don't know.
I bet you're knitting probably about the same size as the other Stephanie here, which is probably like a small medium.
But yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm a large, extra large girl.
Whatevs.
Everyone's got their own shape and size.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so he's in the shower, so I can talk about it. So this is the ugliest thing I have ever crocheted, and I'm almost like, it's just so sad. Okay, so I wanted to make him a baby Yoda for Valentine's Day, and it looks like an elephant. It's just so sad.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, exactly. And I know he's going to love it anyway. So
yes.
So this is a free pattern by October in _ the chair.
Okay.
I think. And it's actually quite a well-written, easy pattern. Like, I am not a crocheter, and I get super nervous about reading crochet patterns. I had to look up because I couldn't remember how to do the triple crochet. So I couldn't remember that one. So I had to look that up, but that's the only thing.
Me either.
Everything else, which is probably why you look so wonky, is because I didn't take the time to look things up. But then, so I need to knit. I'm trying to find the finished. There it is. So that's the finished product.
Cute.
So I'm hoping once I have the sweater or whatever he's called knit put on him, he'll look a lot better.
Yeah.
But his ears are not in place correctly. One's higher than the other. One's more forward on the head than the other. The body is more round than oval. The head is more round. Yeah.
He's cute.
But I know he'll love it because he loves when I make him toys. So my goal is to make him a toy every year, but to surprise him. Like, he's not always going to get it at Christmas. Mm-hmm. To surprise him.
Very cute.
Yes. So okay, I gotta put it back before and I have to crochet on this when he's at work, which is only a couple hours every day because Mr. Radio works every single day, 7 days a week. But, his shift is only a couple hours long on the radio. So I only get that to do it. So I'm getting it.
You'll get there. You got a couple more days.
Yep.
You can always go for a ride and do some car knitting. Like, by yourself. Go park.
Go park.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Do you guys have any other whips that you want to talk about? Because otherwise I'm going to talk about one thing, and then I pretty much think we're done.
I'm good to go.
Okay. What about you, Steph?
I'm good.
Okay. So while I was doing my stash, I had lost a very important project that my mom had purchased for me when we visited an alpaca farm in Oregon. And she bought all this beautiful alpaca yarn that was spun right there on the farm. Never went to a mill, literally spun on that farm. And it was all very expensive. And she wanted me to make the Rams and Ewes blanket, which is a very small blanket. So it doesn't take very much yardage. I lost it. When I moved from Anchorage, from Portland to Anchorage, from that moment on, I couldn't find it. I found it while I was stashing. Yes. So I've got this basket full of natural and one that's not from the farm. But, and these two aren't from the farm. I just threw those in there just in case. But all of these are natural and hand spun from the from the farm.
Beautiful.
And so I've got some blacks. I've got 2 different shades of dark brown, and then some, like this one's almost marled, but it's not, because it looks like it on the screen, but it's just got this beautiful white halo. It's more what it's like. And then this one, I love that one.
Yeah, those are really nice.
So then I've got the naturals as well. But this blanket calls for like 9 colors. So I didn't have enough colors that we got from the farm. So I pulled out this one, the Harriet from Juniper Yarn. I pulled that one out that I knew was alpaca. And I pulled out 2 more that I knew were alpacas, but they turned out being the same colors I already had. So that's not going to work. So that's why. I wanted to buy from a farm. Mm-hmm. But when I went on Google and searched out yarn from alpaca farm, everything I came up with was saying I had to pre-order it, and like there was nothing available on hand. So I ended up back at Knit Picks, and I got their pure alpaca, and I just got 2 more colors.
Good.
They're coming in the mail, and once they get here, I'm gonna make my plan and get going on my mom's blanket.
What colors?
Idea.
I think I did a mauve and another brown that was just, did I do it? No, I think I did a gray.
Oh, nice.
So I think that will even things out because it's still very soft and natural looking. The only thing that's not necessarily natural looking is this blue.
I think it blends well.
Yeah, it's so soft. I think it goes. Yeah. So I'm super excited about that. And I told my mom yesterday at the gym that I found it and that I'm going to get going on it. And she almost cried. So it was great.
I love it. Good for you.
Okay. Do we want one more question before we end things?
I don't know.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, maybe it's easy. Okay. Best project knit. Yeah.
For me, it's probably my Sunset Highway, because that's a fingering weight sweater, and it's the first fingering weight sweater I ever knit, and it's really versatile. Yeah. I had no idea that lightweight yarn, how warm it is without the bulk.
Yeah.
So it looks fantastic on you. I think mine would be the Cove Palisades.
Yeah.
Cardi. Yeah. But then what would be yours?
I think mine would be the Even Star lace weight shawl with the beads that I did for my mother-in-law when we knew that my father-in-law was terminal with brain cancer. So I knit it for her to wear at the funeral.
Wow, I didn't know about that. I'm gonna have to go look at your projects.
Yeah.
I just did a soft robin egg blue with the clear beads, and I prayed with every stitch that I knit into that for her that she would make it through that service, and it's an heirloom piece now. So
yeah, definitely.
I love that. Thank you guys for sharing all of that. And thank you, Steph of Adoreknits, for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
We never did talk about your wall of yarn. I think it's kind of been, I think it's now kind of infamous.
Yeah.
But
yeah, my wall of yarn. Yeah, so my husband records for LibriVox, and we went to Rhinebeck 2019, and he was with me, and in the booths, he was getting up into the corners. Sorry, I'm hiding my face. Into the corners and talking, and he realized that, wow, yarn is really sound deadening. Yeah. So he came home and said, okay, we're going to make you a wall. We're going to get your yarn and put it up there. And so it works for me to look at it, and it works for him as a functional piece. And it's been a year on the wall, and everything I've taken off is fine. It's not dusty. It's
super cool.
All of my worries about, putting my yarn out. What about bugs? What about allergies? Things like that. It's all fine. So, so far so good.
Do you know what everything is on that wall?
It's all labeled.
Good.
And like their tags are with them, obviously.
Okay.
And then I have special ones on this side, and then this is more like a mix of all the indies.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. And you've been trying to do a rainbow.
My Desert Vista row.
Nice.
But you've been using up a lot of those scraps from Desert Vista.
I have.
So very well done of you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. It was a blast. Remember yet again to subscribe, share, like. So as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to do a grand extravaganza of giveaways. And so we hope that you enjoyed this program. Please go and subscribe to Steph's channel, Adoreknits. And you can see it on her label down there. Yep. And check out her Etsy shop, because I love her bags. I love them. Especially this I think is very unique. The birch tree, yes, but the way you guys embroider your name on the tag. I don't know if you do that for everything, but I love that. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah. And in 2 weeks, we'll come back and have another session with a brand new guest. Hint, hint, you will know this person as well. And I'm really, really, truly excited. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. And remember,
so until next time, don't forget to knit what you love
and love what you knit. Ta-ta.